Alright guys, so
I'm not looking at it.
allow us to introduce Grant, our newest cast member.
Go over there.
Oh, hey guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep forgetting the game.
Grant is a friend of ours from college. He's a great D&D player, and you do some voice acting. Is that right?
I do.
All right. Well, Grant is joining us today. Grant, I think you'll know when you come in. It'll be pretty clear.
That's still in frame.
So for now, you're not here yet.
That's fine.
But you'll figure it out pretty quickly.
So don't toss up.
We're not introducing his character right now.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Alright.
All right. So we can finally begin.
Hold his characters.
Without further ado, welcome to this episode of D20 Theater.
Thanks for sticking
Now,
with us.
this week we have a great giveaway. I'm going to show it off here to the camera. This week's giveaway is our Radiant Wildfire Dice. We have already determined the winner for tonight. We determined them just a moment ago. This giveaway's been going on now for, what, 2 weeks? Hey guys, it's been going on for about 2 or 3 weeks maybe. And today we're going to announce the winner. These dice are from Dice Dungeons, an absolutely fantastic company. I use their dice every single session, and I'm hoping to grab some more pretty soon. So, we'll announce the winner here right after intermission, which will be about 2 hours in. Other than that, Greg, you want to hit it with a recap?
Well, when last we left our heroes, and picked up anew with several orcs from the Yakar clan, either originally or from clans that the Yakar had conquered. It should also be noted that this takes place prior to where we are in our story with our heroes. Right. There were several: Grogburner, Beastmaster, Red Eyes, the Hellhawk, and the Manbreaker.
Nice.
I don't remember first names, but I got those.
Rack.
There we go. That were just a disparate group, a ragtag band, you might say, a motley crew, perhaps. That were chosen by. Well, the first thing that happened was that the Yakar clan had lately conquered the
Crothu clan.
The Crothu clan, and so the Crothu leader was executed by Zonag Akar. Executed in honorable combat. So it's a good death. It wasn't close.
As close to execution as the orcs really get.
Yeah, but it was an honorable death, I suppose. And then his remaining orcs were sort of absorbed into Akar. They were assimilated. Resistance was largely futile.
Resistance is futile.
Thank you.
That was the joke.
They had a day of feasting, just kind of in celebration of their new brothers and sisters, in honoring the dead, in celebration of their victory. And they had also acquired from Crothu a cartouche, a tablet that had something of importance to Zonag. We don't actually know what it was. Something important.
He did mention that it was the key to unlocking the secrets of Mort Shaman.
Mort Shaman.
Yes.
What's Mort Shaman?
Excellent question. We
Well,
don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll have to find out.
So we didn't know. So there's a day of feasting
Yeah,
and celebration, and Red Eyes killed a pig by throwing it too hard. And then during the night,
climax of the episode.
a shaman, a
Basically,
loyal
that's
shaman of the Yakar clan, one who had been a friend to Jalakar, and his father Kaldarakar before him, was murdered, and the cartouche was stolen, the cartouche he'd been guarding. And so Zonag's witch cast the bones to discover who would be going in pursuit of this thief, and in fact, the 5 orcs that I've just mentioned were chosen. They went in pursuit, and after a great deal of excitement, I can cut it short to say, they did get him. Manbreaker kicked him off a mountain, off a cliff, where he landed next to Red Eyes, who survived, but the thief did not. And that's kind of, with it, we recovered the cartouche and returned to Clan Akar, having fought off a number of big spiders and bad orcs.
Lots and
lots
lots of zombies.
Lots of frozen zombies.
Just for the benefit of our audience, could you also briefly recap the session prior? The last session we had.
The last session that we had was the retaking of the Baron's Keep in the town of Piren's Bluff. The Baron had been enforcing a new kind of religion and had declared himself an independent freeholding lord, separate from both the warring kingdoms of Thrimichath and Caneth. Our heroes were able to sort of bluff their way into the city under the guise of being nothing more than guards, or not guards, salesmen, yarn salesmen.
Yarn salesman.
Specifically.
Salesman.
Excellent. And had made their way into the keep with the help of not Gaston, totally, guys. Tolvar or something.
Something like that.
He talked like that. But we made our way in, fought through a number of guards. Our warlord was possessed by an evil spirit and had a fight with our NPC paladin friend, because Brandon wasn't here. And then... But for narrative purposes, that's what happened. And then the rest of us made our way through the keep and were able, with the surprisingly timely arrival of Sir Eldon Grimright, Knight Paladin of Thrimichath, did in fact take down the Baron, releasing the beast that he claimed would be freed. With his death, we did that, probably. It might be bad. It's probably fine. Who knows? And then left the Neckbreaker, legendary hero of Thrimichath, showed up to say, "Good job!" And then that's kind of where we left our heroes.
All right. And now, we rejoin our heroes.
Hooray!
You've been brought down now into the Baron's throne room. There, on the ground before you, you can see the creature, the corpse. Well, it's not a creature anymore. The corpse of the guard who was possessed the day before. You can see him laying there in the center of the room.
This is the one that was trying to eat my face, right?
The one that was trying to eat your face.
Bad news.
Nullius, still recovering from his injuries, sits in the throne, while Lef and Eldon stand assembled around the corpse. As they stand there, Lef says, "What was the thing that possessed that creature? I've never seen anything like it in my life." Eldon, for a moment, pauses and says, "I have heard one tale of similar creatures from my old traveling companions. The way they were described, they were the most fearsome beings the two had ever seen. I've very rarely seen my scribe afraid. But at that moment, I saw fear in his eyes as he told me the tale. He said he seemed to trap it in a staff that he had. But I'm afraid my scribe, Morgan, disappeared not long after that. In him I sensed the same darkness that I can now feel in esteem." All eyes turn to the Dark Elf.
No, I passed my wisdom save.
Stop
that.
Really, I feel fine after the battle. I don't feel any of these presences that you
I feel the same presence that you're talking about.
Yes.
But, and there was something else. There was, with this creature, there was a crate. Inside the crate, Morgan told me it moved, as did Yoan, my manservant. The two of them described this crate rattling back and forth, and when they opened it up, they saw inside an orc with black smoky eyes. Just like the ones you described on the creature upstairs. An orc. Rampaging, trying to get out.
So, how many are there?
Lef says, "There's the question. The only thing I've ever seen like this was, well, there was a beast with unnatural powers in the jungles of Norway during the Vampire War. If the damn thing hadn't broken my arm so I couldn't fight, well, things in the war might have turned out differently, and friends that were lost might not have been. The world lost a good man that day.
I agree.
But since I have seen no creature with such strength."
It doesn't matter what strength we have, they're going to overpower us. Trust me. It was the worst feeling.
I'm going to use Divine Sense. Is he clear?
You sense nothing in him.
You seem to have cast it off with no ill effects, and yet it remains in you.
Why you?
Perhaps your heart is purer, untainted by that sorcery he wields.
Perhaps I am simply more welcoming.
To an evil spirit.
Nullius stands against his injuries. He stands up and he says, "If you welcome this beast, trust me, you should slam your door in its face. I fought Piren while the beast was within him. I've never fought a foe like that in my life. These things, they're unholy. There's some sort of unholy presence in the air upstairs. I don't feel it down here, but I feel it in you. The creature upstairs, before it possessed Piren, it seemed to feed off of this energy. And once it broke free, once the energy was all gone and I could sense it no more, that is when Piren turned. I think it's also worth noting, while it was in that field of energy, the creature seemed capable of speaking. But once it was in Piren and the creature that was in the guardsman, neither of them uttered a word.
So when they're in the energy field, they can speak, but whenever they're possessing someone outside the circle, they can't speak, but they can possess them and use their bodies as they will.
So is the salt keeping it trapped or strengthening it?
I don't know. We only have 2 with which to compare.
Well, then I suppose we should make a third. Why do I not stand in a circle of this field and see if it affects me?
He's got a point.
Let's let him be the bait.
He looks to Eldon and to Bluff, and they look around at one another for a minute, and Bluff says, "We could perhaps try it. But if things go wrong..."
Oh, surely you can subdue little old me.
It's not subduing you that I worry about. It's getting you unsubdued once my mace is cracked into your skull.
Oh, snap.
For clarification, the neckbreaker is carrying a massive 2-handed flail. It looks like it can do some cracking.
If you're a point.
I'm gonna bend over to his team. Don't worry, I'll heal it off you.
Do we have some extra salt, or do we need to find some?
There was an entire crate in the altar upstairs.
Is the salt circle like 25? Is the salt circle still there, or is it?
It
like
is, but it's
scattered?
disturbed.
Yeah.
And they've been battling upstairs for a while.
So I guess
It's
been
probably
like-
all over the place, yeah.
I have a broom.
Alright, we're good, guys.
Perfect.
Go
Right,
home.
while you guys are
Go home.
talking,
We
I'm
know
gonna go sweep
you
up some
disturbed the salt with
Well,
it in the first
Les looks
Over.
to Eldon and says, "Eldon, join her for protection just in case." And he goes, "Oh, but with her,
Oh,
yes."
Oh no, it'll be fine. She's right.
Oh, well, that's right. He says yes, and then as she brushes some hair back, he sees her ears, and he goes, "Oh, well, in that case." And he follows her upstairs.
Don't even notice anything. I'm just sweeping away.
All right, and he's just standing up there while you sweep. Every now and then he tries to make conversation with you in a very heavily accented Narween.
Which you don't speak
Which you don't
because
speak.
you're not that kind of little. He doesn't know.
At
Idiots.
that moment, you hear the front doors of the keep slam open, and you hear bootsteps headed your way. As the door swings open, Aegherdt Aldarian,
Oh yeah.
King of
I'm gonna hit
Thrimichath,
my knee.
enters,
Yep. most
flanked
of us.
by a
That's the
huge
king.
draconian
I
warrior.
can't remember.
Whoa.
Oh no.
No.
I don't. Okay, I don't.
Oh.
take.
I don't imagine I've ever.
There was no knee taking.
No one's seen one of these.
All rise, even Nullius, in his wounded state. Aegherdt walks in the room and he says, "I apologize for my lateness. What's been going on here?"
Well,
Okay, shrub.
No.
That's a good nickname.
That is a good nickname.
what?
The neck break.
Continue. You may.
Lots of things happen, Your Sirness. First, we.
You don't have to seem so nervous around me, lad.
Oh, okay.
He comes up and he holds out a hand and he says, "Long before I was king, I was simply Aegherdt Aldarian. You may call me Aegherdt, or even Egg if you wish."
Egg. like egg.
Like the cooking egg.
That is his eyes
It's just-
widened comically as he
Sure, like the cooking egg.
That's very funny. Yeah. So back to what I was. Sorry, you said egg. We fought the Baron of the Keep, and he summoned large things that hurt me.
Fiends, we've been calling them, Nullius says.
Fiends. I like that name.
It's a good name.
I'm gonna pull
Never
out a book.
before said ever. Never before.
You're not here.
Aegherdt says,
I'm not here.
what sort of large things are these that he summoned?
He twisted one of his guardsmen into an unholy abomination. I gestured towards it.
Is it still
I
there?
mean, now it
Is
just looks like a guy, because remember,
Ah,
right?
yeah,
right.
because it.
Once we
So you gestured
he
to
sort
it.
of kicks it over for a
once we
minute.
slew it, it
Ah.
returned to its more normal shape, but it was unharmed by the touch of our steel, except for her weapon.
I'm upstairs.
Except for the weapon of one of our companions, enchanted by a dwarven smith.
I've encountered creatures before that could withstand non-magical blades. Strange. So this thing he did, it gave his men power?
Just the one. And it seemed to turn him into a savage monster. There was little humanity left.
Strange. That is concerning. But the Baron is defeated, and thus no more of these creatures are in the world?
Sir Grimright made sure of the fact that the Baron is defeated, although we're not certain that we're rid of the beasts.
Bluff stands for a moment. He says, "From what Sir Grimright tells me, and my own experience, we know of at least 2 that might still be out there."
2 what?
Of the creatures.
That possess people.
Aegherdt says, I see. And he turns to the Draconian next to him and he says, "Barthun, have you ever heard of such creatures?"
I've not, my liege.
What?
He says, "Fealfey never used such twisted magics?"
Not to my knowledge.
That is concerning. I thought Fealfey had use of all the darkest magics under the sun. It certainly seemed that way the day we faced him on the field at Logrin.
I believe, my lord, that even Fealfey eschewed the use of something like necromancy.
That is true. That is true. Then what of your people?
Well, this is news to me as well. I've been involved with many of the workings of the church, but nothing of this caliber.
Then it is not necromancy, nor is it sorcery.
As he's eating a cookie.
Yeah, he's got some spell rations. It's a long walk.
Aegherdt is not standing on ceremony. He's just this old man just eating a biscuit while he's talking to us.
He's not old. He's like 50 something. Yeah, he's like early
we moved
50s. Yeah.
it. That's right.
He thinks for a moment, and he says, "Well, this is concerning, but at the moment it seems we have no further information. I don't think there's much we can do."
There are no countermeasures in place.
We've never experienced anything like this. What sort of countermeasures might we have? Nullius, leaning back in the chair, says, "We do have the church."
It can be sensed by those who are touched by Lorimir's light.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
Nullius says, "I also can't help but point out the connection that seems to exist between the orcs and these fiends.
Indeed.
Shaira, the priestess in the temple here, mentioned that this altar was purchased from the orcs. And Sir Eldon said that it was with an orc that they found the fiend he faced."
Did she survive your men breaking into the city, Lord Neckbreaker?
He says, "What did she look like?"
I describe her.
"I think I saw her up on a stick."
Ooh.
She deserved no less, but I'm disappointed that we didn't get to learn anything else from her.
"Yes, well, that's what happens when you bring too many zealots with you."
I immediately look
Absolutely.
at the door.
No self-awareness!
Nope, not a bit.
I like it.
What we do know is that this fiend doesn't seem to care who it possesses, as far as race goes.
Or about eating people either. I pointed a scar on my shoulder.
You're fine.
You didn't see it.
Well, that's a gnarly wound.
He just said gnarly.
Gnarly, man.
Don't say it, Red Lord.
Oh, no, that is a gnarly wound. Well then, I don't know what else can be done. And at that moment, down the stairs comes the wood elf with the broom, flanked by Sir Eldon Grimway.
Yes, and I am covered in salt.
Alright.
That you
Ah,
sweeping furiously as being kicked up into the air.
Yes.
Eldon says, this servant you brought along with you, she...
No, immediately smack him with the broom.
What was that for?
I am not a servant, and I like pull out my glowy magic axe, and I'll say, I'll have you know, I was the only one to damage the thing.
Well, I'm sorry, I just assumed, you know, your
This was the
people
companion.
usually are in positions of service.
Smack you.
Oh, God!
And I just leave.
He says, I don't understand what she was so upset about.
Me neither.
But, on any accord, she has finished rearranging the salt circle upstairs.
Then let us investigate.
Besides,
Eldon says, and what is it we're about to do?
well, one of the spirits, or at least its imprint, remains in the room, my lord. We can feel it within the Dark Elf.
So I
He
will,
waves.
It appears to be unaffected, but its taint has left its mark upon him at least.
I will stand in the middle of the circle and think very hard.
Well, I don't pretend to know the ways of magics, but after you. You all head upstairs, and there you can see the salt circle is rearranged just like it was.
Then I will step over it and just kind of
Should we prepare anything
shimmy around.
else?
Nullius, even though he's got this huge gouge in his side from Farin's essentially claws earlier, he's got this huge gouge in his side. He's still got his half plate on his legs, but he has no. He's just got a white tunic on, and he's standing there and he's holding in one hand a long sword, and he's just waiting. He says, "Don't worry, I'm prepared." And you can see he is not looking forward to whatever's about
I'm
to
gonna
happen.
dig into my herbalist pouch and pull out some English ivy vines,
Okay.
and I'm gonna say,
Some Thrim ivy.
Something
Yeah.
from England.
Yeah.
Where did they come from?
Different world.
Magic.
esteem, please forgive me, but if you turn into the thing that tried to eat me, Yuane won't be a gift.
Well, we should all remember, the first time that we interacted with this fiend, it could not break through the salt circle. I do not have any reason to believe that if it takes me over, that it will breach the circle itself.
I extend my hand out and the vines begin to move. Even so,
Right. Beyond logic, I understand. Okay.
Maybe even if
We are dealing with something beyond our comprehension. Your logic may be of little use to us, I'm afraid.
I think the fiend seemed plenty reasonable when we spoke with him.
This is not a matter of mind, it is a matter of faith.
okay.
I'm readying my spear.
He says, if that beast possesses you, I will waste no time in putting you down.
Then what is the point in... I'm going to step out of the circle.
As you start to step out of the circle, you find yourself unable to.
Oh!
no.
Okay. All right.
What about logic now?
Well,
Let us assume.
this is exactly what we planned for.
That is what he said would happen.
By the way, I'm rolling my adaptive stratagem.
Oh, okay.
Is this a new day?
17 and 3.
Nice. They're both good.
If this is a new day, then I will also roll my fortune.
All right.
Which is a 15 and 3.
I'm not rolling
Not
in.
bad.
Not bad.
That's a good range.
When he struggles to get out of the circle, I look to him and I just say, well, may the black take you quickly. And I just sort of pull out my axe.
Now,
I like how she's like, may the black take you, and I'm over here like, I'll heal you.
Like, you're dead. Yeah, you're dead.
personally speaking, I am feeling threatened by this situation.
May we speak to the creature that resides within the Dark Elf?
You all wait around for a moment, and you see Aegherdt just sort of going,
I'm gonna prepare entangle just in case.
Nothing seems to happen.
It may be the case.
Spells ready.
This,
please.
whatever this is, if this is anything,
Oh my god.
may be frightened by the impending doom it may face.
This isn't a magical
Should it
weapon.
surface?
This is not a magical weapon. It is immune to its touch.
If it does not have a physical form,
It's not going to be scared of us.
I say, perhaps he is too together in his mind. We might need to knock him out to speak with him. I'm so ready to kill you.
She has a point.
Bluff says, "This seems to be doing nothing. Perhaps we should just let him out."
Well, she does have a point. Whenever we came up to this room, the body was unconscious or dead.
The body was dead.
Yes.
No,
I'm going to disturb the salt very slightly with my foot, in much the same way that she did with
Alright.
the room last time.
can I wiggle my can I stick my
Yeah.
hand
In
out?
fact, now that it's disturbed, you can move your entire body anywhere at any
Oh.
point from the circle.
All right.
It's been broken. It seems to have no hold on you.
Okay. Well,
Interesting.
this will be good to keep in mind.
So behave.
I have some jars. Can I sweep up a lot of the salt?
Sure.
So
We've got a
I
whole crate of it.
I mean, yeah, there's a crate. You can just
You
dip
can
the
just
jar
dip,
in.
like
All
nice
right.
salt that's
I'm
not
gonna
floor
get
salt.
I'm gonna go ahead and take one of my
Get one-
alchemy jars and do that as well.
one full jug of salt.
All right.
In hindsight, this experiment may have been only to my detriment.
We're just gonna leave him in a circle of salt
At
every
all
night.
times, every night, I'm just gonna put
Alright, you stay there.
a circle
Really?
of salt
Hey,
around him.
Sam, I have an inspiration for earlier when you were interacting with Aegherdt.
Yeah.
So, at this point, Aegherdt says, "Well, this is all very interesting, but I'm afraid I have other matters to attend to. I just wanted to thank you. It was very lucky that you arrived when you did. This siege might have gone on for much longer if it had not been for Tandor, who came running out to warn us that, or to let us know that you were in the city, taking it from the inside.
Did he and his men survive? They were very brave.
There were 3 of them that I saw.
There were 4 or 5, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Is this place taken back to Thermicath?
It's a lizard
hands? No.
Yes, it is.
Good.
For now, one of Left's men will hold court here.
Very
At
well.
least for the time being.
And do you have any orders for us? Do you need anything done?
Orders? Are you members of my army? I had not known.
Well, not technically, but some of us are citizens of Thermicath, and we would like to serve our king in any way possible.
The
Well-
church serves the crown, my lord. As a silencer, I am under your command.
And the crown serves the church, as it should be. But, that said, I appreciate their help at the moment, of course. Anything you can do in the war against Caneth. All we need are good, strong citizens at the moment.
Isn't Caneth basically where the halflings are from?
No.
No.
Halflings are from the Aiden Confederacy,
Oh, okay.
which is on a different continent. But
I was about to
the
take Supreme
Outlanders, who is the religion that you worship,
Yeah.
they are currently allied with Caneth.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
we're
I'm
standing
still
before-
a little.
He's the king of
Do
Thrimichath.
I not like this? I can't remember.
You probably wouldn't like this guy
We
because again, your
probably-
religion.
Yeah, our
is-
religion is based in
You don't like him?
Caneth.
Okay, I don't like him.
No, I don't mind him.
No, I
He's
don't
the
like
hero king.
He's the
You
hero. king.
also, just about everyone respects him because he was part of the group that helped defeat the very first King in Thorns, which is the leader of the Outlanders during the Third Rise, and he was part of the group that slew Faelfe. So he's very much respected even by those who are against him. Probably the only person that doesn't respect him is the Iron Duke, Rhys. Because when he was crowned king, it came out, of course, that Leth and Rogier had killed the actual king in order to usurp the throne, and then they chose Aegherdt to take the throne. And so the Iron Duke is an incredibly loyal man, and so he was invited to the council that was going to be talking about who would take each position, since he was a major member of the Loyalist army. But when he found out the king was dead, he cut off the head of the guy who was sent to bring him to the council, and he sent it back strapped to his horse along with a note that said, "Treachery begets only treachery." And at that moment, he went and he found the mistress and bastard son of the previous king, rescued the bastard son just in case Aegherdt was going to try to kill him, took him to the Isle of Lesbos, where they founded the nation of Canaan, and ever since they've been at war with Thrimichath.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer.
And did he like wed this mistress or?
No, he just took her
No.
there.
Oh.
He just serves as the Grand Duke.
Yeah, he's
Um,
military advisor
no.
and stuff.
Okay.
He also serves as their Lord Knight.
He's big and bad.
He's pretty old too. He's a little older than Aegherdt.
Okay.
He's in his late 50s, I would say.
And human as well.
Right.
I hate to get back to the task at hand, but we did have a request for the great hero
Well,
king.
anything I can do. You've certainly served us well here.
We all came under attack at Aberdavi, I believe it was. The orcs had organized, and
Abu Dhabi, that's a village in the waste, is it not?
it is, yes.
And
That's
when
my
he says
hometown.
organized, my lord, he means they were disciplined, well-drilled, armed, and outfitted. They were possessed of far more fighting discipline than any orcs I've ever even
They
heard.
were wearing shields. I point to mine.
That doesn't sound quite in character for an orc, I have to admit.
They had formations and tactics. It was unlike anything I've ever heard. I
Bluff
don't know.
says, that certainly is very odd. I've not fought with many orcs that used such prowess in battle.
Just the one, I guess.
He says, I did know one once that used a spear.
Who was that?
The Jolakar, of course. One of the pilgrims. He fought with us during the Vampire War.
A car.
Have we heard that before?
Yes.
We have-
Zonag.
Yes,
Zonag,
I have heard of
Akar.
Zonag. Zonag is Jarl's brother.
He leads the horde now. Yes, there
Yeah.
was an Akar that we met, who he invited me to face him in single combat. He threw me a spear. And then I described basically the weapon.
No. Oh, Rogier, what have you done?
What happened?
That spear. It contains the essence of Jolakar, his very soul.
How was his soul trapped in a weapon?
Do tell.
That's called magic.
He says, the world's bane had a bow, Scarborough. This bow had the power to, it was made from the same wood that they use in Narwain
You ain't
to
business.
transfer the spirits of the Parliament of Druids into the Grove. He fashioned the bow from this material, and we found that it was able to transfer souls of its own. When Jarl was dying, his body could no longer save him. We passed his spirit into the bow, and we took it to his father, Calder. I had given the spear to Calder, and I was going to reclaim it and bring it to the Museum of Victories, but at Calder's funeral, when he died, Rogier said that it should go to Zonag.
I see. And this spirit, it just contains it? Is it aware?
It seems to be able to communicate. When we took the spear to Calder, when I held the spear in my hand, it was like I was there with Joe. Calder touched it for but a moment and seemed to suddenly know what it was.
So why would he give it to me to fight with?
I don't know. Perhaps. His eyes widen for a moment, and Aegherdt says, perhaps he was trying to learn your skills and maneuvers. If the spear is aware, it could be aware of what you're doing with it.
And if he is uniting the orcs, they could all be trained.
Nullius says, and they could pass the spear to any of them and instantly gain the prowess of 1,000 warlords.
Well, that sounds very, very bad.
My lord, I understand that the strife with Cainith is important, but these orcs pose a terrible threat.
He paces for a moment, and he says, They do. You're not wrong. But I don't know what I can do about it.
Well, as I said, we are at your disposal. If we can find out where they're holding the spear, we could seize it. Kill the one who's carrying it. It won't undo the damage it's already done, I would guess.
And you could take on an army of orcs to get to this man.
That's easier said than done.
Considerably. But if we knew where he was, we could infiltrate. We could set up siege weaponry and bombard his position. We could do something.
It'd have to be boss.
If only I could send troops.
My lord, you never touched the spear, did you?
You talking to Aegherdt?
Yeah.
He says, I've never seen it.
But you did, I say to the neckbreaker.
Left nods. He says, yes, but when I had held it, dear Lord, Lord of Mir above, Jol knows everything about the way I fight. Not only did I wield the spear in battle, but he fought alongside me for the better part of 2 years.
What do you think the Akars are gonna do with this information?
Jol had a dream for a home for his people. Karash Haruk is no home at all. He wanted a green place where his people could thrive.
They mean to conquer Thrimichath.
Do they have to?
There's nowhere else. They could take Guiron, but the elves have it too fortified. They would be fighting against archers every step of the way. They could try to take Norwain, but there's little there worth taking. Hissim is raided and sacked. There's not much else.
If they're going to take Thrimichath, they have to go through the waste, says Nullius. It's possible they could stop there. Possible, but would you?
No.
They have already tasted blood.
They've already taken Abu Dhabi. They were setting up fortifications. They were seizing stockpiles of food and clothing. They mean to stay.
Aegherdt furrows his brow and says, This calls for war. But I cannot fight a war on 2 fronts. And if I were to send troops now, it would give the Iron Duke exactly what he wanted. Canaan forces would finally make it into Thrimichath, and it would be a 6-fingered war all over again. Our people can't afford that. Not but 20 years after the last.
What if we talk to the Iron Duke about what's happening?
You want to negotiate?
All of you guys!
I think that's a great
Just
idea.
a bunch of spit.
Thank you.
Lev says, I sent an army against the Iron Duke once in battle. My army against his. I regret that I was not able to meet him on the field. I couldn't find him. But I saw what he did. Dozens of troops cut down. The Iron Duke is a furious man with a code, a strong code. He will never ally with the ones who usurp the throne.
What about the goblins of Rogarek, my lord?
He laughs and he says, Rogir and I are personal friends. But do not mistake the world's bane's personal fondness for me with a willingness to cooperate with the rest of the world. We would have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is quite a lot in it for him.
I may not seem like a halfling from... Where are halflings from again?
The Aiden Confederacy.
I may not seem like I'm the Aiden Confederacy. I even have trouble saying it.
You can also go, the 3 countries in the Aiden Confederacy are Maiba, Pyla, and Frida.
I may not be from my Ohio Frida. But I could talk to the halflings and bring the steel folk.
They are across the sea. I do not know if they would have any
It will take a long
mistaken
time.
this.
My
By
lord,
the
didn't-
time they got here, it might already be done. The people of the Waste won't last the winter.
they're begging for this. They know what they're doing.
How many of the innumerable could we muster?
That's
Aegherdt sort of thinks for a minute and he says,
not enough.
the innumerable are more numerable than they've been in the past. He says their numbers were decimated by the Third Rise and decimated again during the elemental apocalypse. And then, of course, there's all this business with Kenneth. I don't know how many are still out there.
If I were a man of military prowess, I would say to try and stop them in the wastes here before they reach anything else.
We could bottleneck them between the
The
Wastes
line.
and Thrimichath.
At the moment, though it pains me to say it, the orcs are fighting our enemy.
They're fighting our countrymen.
Yes. Yes, but
Oh my gosh.
there's nothing I can do. You must understand, I can't send troops that direction.
So you'll watch as innocent people will die.
And what do you ask of me? Do you ask me to abandon Thrimichath to more war? To let Kenneth rampage across the countryside? To let the Iron Duke take what he pleases? The Six-Fingered War ended because we made a choice. Leff says, we had to put him on the throne. Aegherdt was the only man that everyone respected. He was the only man who could unite everyone. And if he falls, if Aegherdt leads an army, or if he stays here, and the Iron Duke comes to call, if Aegherdt falls, this next war might have more than 6 fingers.
My lord, maybe, and I know this goes against every fiber of my being, but with these orcs, eventually they're going to go against the
Thrimichathi?
Thermocathy, and I know there's grudges all around. Maybe we should have an emergency meeting and see if the Iron Duke is willing to eventually.
Perhaps a temporary cessation in combat until the orcs are dealt with.
This is the chance to stop this, at least temporarily, and focus on the impending threat. That will be a big problem. We can't ignore it.
He says, I've reached out to the Iron Duke before, and he's never agreed to a meeting. But the dwarves of Ezelheim, they've called a meeting now. They've asked me to be there. Yes, some sort of meeting. I don't know what it's about. But they say it's important. Matriarch Zelgan herself is hosting the meeting. Dwarves are valuable allies to both Kenneth and Thrimichath, though we be on opposite sides of this war. They seem to have called representatives from all the countries of the world. They say that some wanderers have returned from the deep with some sort of news.
What? A lore question. Why are Thrimichath and Kenneth, I must have missed this, why are they actually fighting? The Duke and the King just hate each other?
Well, no, it's not that
That's
they
what he was
hate
just
each other.
talking
That's the thing, is the Iron Duke,
Was supposed to
He
take
was
the
a
throne.
loyalist.
he was a loyalist. And so when Leff and Rogear killed this guy was super loyal. So when Leff and Rogear killed Syrian the Beardless
Yeah.
and put Aegherdt in his place,
Mhm.
he was like,
He
this
did
guy's a
like
traitor,
that.
I'm not going to follow a traitor.
Yeah.
So,
So that's why.
but he says,
That's why we're not friends.
he says they've
I'm
they
friends with
brought this
Except for
this
orcs.
meeting together. If the Iron Duke's there, it might be a chance that I have to speak with him. I can try. I'll do what I have.
Under my breath, and I say, it might be a chance to give up this petty feud.
Nullius, from where he sits, says, there is one other option.
What are you thinking about?
Thrimichath and Cainith alike, they all worship Loramir.
Oh God.
He says, most of them at least. I have some respect from the Lord Bishop. I could speak with him and ask him to call a crusade. It hasn't been done since the first rise, when Knight Cleric Eobard slew Feolfe. But such a thing would bring the forces of Cainith and Thrimichath to bear, and neither King Philip, nor the Iron Duke, nor King Aegherdt could have anything to say about it. He stands and he says, there are horses in the stables. I could make for Logrin and be meeting with the Lord Bishop within the fortnight.
We could bring in our fellow priests of the Red.
To do so, you'd have to go back into the waste. Lef thinks for a moment, says, there is a way. There's a place called Elric's Watch. Our ships often struggle to sail near there. It's to the southwest, at the end of the mountains. It's a sort of watch on the sea. This place is known to be a refuge for those seeking passage from Thrimichath into Cainith with friendly intentions. Since Cainith has claimed the waste, perhaps you could go there. Tell them of your intent. Maybe you would find some friends among the armies of Cainith. Friends that we could not find.
I step forward, gesture to the priest of black. We have priests among all the old faiths.
Then it sounds like your path leads to Elric's Watch.
And just map-wise, where exactly is that?
So you're at Piren's Bluff, which
We're
is
at
at
the
the
top.
break in those mountains.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the end of the mountains, there's where Elric's Watch is. So
If you guys want to see the
southeast.
map is on our Obsidian portal page. If you go down on the link below, I've got it set up. You just click on it, and it goes and you see the map,
Right.
and you see all sorts of lore.
All sorts of lore.
Lef says, Aegherdt, do we have any sort of ships that they could borrow? And Aegherdt says, well, there is, of course, your old ship. And he nods and Lef laughs and he says, that silly old thing.
Silly.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Flindiferous being a master at that ship.
I suppose that they could take that down. Yes. And you know what? I have just the captain in mind.
Yes!
He says,
Yay!
he says, head south until the mountains meet the sea.
Yeah,
There.
that's so true.
There you will find a captain waiting for you on a ship with a goblin name. Once you see it, you'll know you've found the right place. Tell him that the left neckbreaker sends you. As proof, Barthun,
Yes, my captain.
will you travel with these people? Represent Thrimichath on this map. I'm secretly a double agent.
Play the long game.
I don't know
25 years.
I don't know about Cainith, my liege.
If that is your order, as you desire.
Well then, I hope none of you will mind fighting with Barthun.
He is a draconian. Is he wearing
He's a
any sigils?
draconian. He's currently wearing a sigil of Loramir, in
Works for
fact.
me.
Are
And
they?
Draconians were Feolfe's super soldiers.
Yeah.
No one knows quite how they were created. Some say they mixed. Some say they mixed the blood of elves with the blood of dragons. And some say they just enchanted dragon eggs, things like that. But essentially, for D&D terms, it's a dragonborn. And they were Feolfe's extremely loyal and zealous super soldiers. No one's really ever heard of any that didn't fight for Veilfey.
Are they rare?
And are still alive.
They're super
really.
rare.
Yeah,
because
very
most of them.
rare.
Never seen.
So
Right,
whenever he
no,
walks
none
in,
of
we're
us
like,
have seen
Good to
The
know.
only
that's
way
why
you
we
might
don't
have
know.
seen
Yeah,
one.
it's not a
What
casual
the
thing.
Yeah,
what
the only
is
way you
that?
might have seen one is if you saw them during the Third Rise ransacking the country.
Yeah.
and
All
none of
right.
us were here around
He
third
might
grade.
have.
I would have been
around.
alive.
Yeah, but he wasn't here.
I
You
would've
were,
been
you
there.
were in Fellahard.
You were watching
Can I give,
Thunder
like, a
Force being
quick-
awesome.
Yeah, go ahead.
Description?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he is a copper dragonborn,
Cool.
Oh, I thought you were bronze. I misunderstood. Okay.
or whatever. Copper. It's pretty close.
I mean,
Yeah, right.
kind of brownish. You know, that guy.
Brown and shiny.
Copper. We'll go with copper.
All right.
He wears chainmail. He has on his back a large halberd, and he has on his neck, and also he's wearing a tabard of Lormir.
Cool.
Oh,
And on his neck is a symbol of Lormir.
Now, Copper, is that a fire dragon?
Mhm.
That's
that's
not
nice.
Good to fight with
So-
another man of faith.
I'm immediately like,
I don't like it.
I need to like, I want to take a scale. That's like gonna be my goal.
You're gonna take one?
So you're just like
Yeah,
eyeing some
they're
of his
very
exposed scales.
pretty, and I'm like, this is weird. I need a
She
souvenir.
said-
I may be a little racist towards a dragonborn because it seems like
I don't think it would be
Not
very possible for most people
correct.
To not be.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
most
not-
people would be racist.
yeah. it's not right. Just like I think orcs, they're twisted elves. So
Aegherdt
they're not
says,
right.
I'm not really sure that I'll see anything.
Aegherdt
other than
says,
the
You have
symbols
nothing to
of Lormir."
fear from Barfoon. He is a friend.
How
I know him well.
Thank you, my liege.
I don't mean to doubt you at all, but how long has he served with you?
Well,
Like he's not in the room.
it was.
Yeah,
How long
let's
has
talk
it been?
mess without him. Right
Do you
here.
speak Dwarven?
He says, I will allow Barfoon to tell you his story in his time. That is not mine to say.
My
Nice,
apologies.
DM. Nice.
My apologies.
Well, if we take you back 15 years.
I know that you may all not need this, but I do want to give caution to this meeting of yours. Having all the powers over there with the dwarves, the orcs could ambush you.
He's an old guy. Left's in like his 80s.
Yeah, but
right
he
now,
doesn't
isn't
look it.
He doesn't look it at all. But Left goes, he says, as long as I am by the king's side, any ambush will find itself splattered between a flail and the wall.
I believe that.
He holds up his flail and he says, this is the weapon that brought down Taraske.
What?
What is Tarask?
Taraske
Yeah.
Was
was
the Tarask?
It was
well,
worse
it
than
was
that.
it was the name that the elves gave to Ashura, which was what they called the Lord of all Dragons. Ashura is his draconic name. The elves called him Taraske, and he was basically a multi-headed dragon that was he was the size of a palace.
Yeah.
And
It was
when one of his heads was destroyed, it would come back
with
So
another.
with another.
It was a Tarask dragon hydra.
Yeah.
He was really
Okay.
And Left's
A Tarask
flail,
dragon
Left's
hydra.
flail was enchanted to gain power every time it killed a dragon.
Good night.
So once it brought down that thing,
Yeah. It was pretty powerful.
yeah, it turned him and Rogier practically immortal. The resulting shockwave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Starting to ruin campaigns.
Who is?
Breaking the world.
Yeah,
Oh.
basically.
Pain
Eldon
of the
says,
world.
and for my part, I will seek out I have no idea where Morgan has gone, but I will seek out my old manservant, Yoan. He left with a friend to visit Narwain. Perhaps I could find them there, and perhaps they may be of some use.
Who's this fellow?
This is.
That's
Who's
Eldon.
talking?
This is
That's
Eldon
Eldon.
Grimright.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
I
Eldon. then. Oh, okay.
resist the urge to smack him again for literally no reason.
He says, I
Do you
hope
resist
we can find some
Thank you.
information there that Narween are a quite simple folk. And then,
You're not Norwegian.
You're not
Norwegian.
Nullius
You believe
says,
that?
I know, but I'm only allowed to be racist. He's way too racist.
Nullius says, and I will write to the Lord Bishop. Failing the meeting at Ezelheim, The Lord Bishop will unite us all.
God, he's serious all the time. He's never not serious. Ever since we've met him.
That's not true.
No, it's been life or death situation.
The yarn.
Oh, hard. But like we went to go gamble, he was like, "Don't roll a 1, you die." Oh Jesus. Okay. I guess I won't.
Nullius's journal. Oh, the city is filled with filth and disease.
Sinners everywhere. I'm in Warhammer 40k.
We're yarn salesmen. Yarn for death. What?
The Hangman's Yarn.
Yeah, the hangman's yarn. This dude's always been serious.
The thread of fate. Yarn is never serious. Neither is rope. It's just never.
All right,
you're never gonna let me
before
know
he
that.
goes, Nullius turns to Thaddeus and he says, "My friend, if the enemy closes in on you,
This is very modern.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
very
excuse
modern.
me.
It's very modern. There we
if the
go.
enemy closes in on you, turn their weapons in your favor,
May the light shine upon you.
and upon you, my brother."
May the green bless you.
And Nullius steps out to go right away. Aegherdt says, "Well then, it seems you must have your own business to attend to. As do I. As I
This
ride
is
for
the king,
Ezelheim,
right?
yes.
Yep.
As I ride for Ezelheim, I wish you luck. Light be upon you, and may the sun always shine on your path.
Good luck, my lord.
Left, we have work to do." Left sort of swings his flail over his shoulder and says, "Don't we always? Work till we die." He follows him
As
out.
they leave, I know this is not correct, but Boss doesn't. And she's just gonna say, "Pleasant rumblings."
Left sort of laughs as he leaves.
He rumbles.
He does rumble. He rumbles pleasantly.
All right. You're able to.
So now we've got a
Now we have this
draconian.
random guy with us.
So you're
How
left.
tall is this dude?
How tall are you?
Probably pretty tall.
He's
Pretty darn
You're big.
Yeah, they start at like I think 5'8", and then you also roll 2d12.
2d12.
Go ahead and roll.
Yeah.
Let's see
Good
what
Okay,
night.
okay.
2d12?
Yeah.
2d12 is how tall I
That's a
am.
7
Party foul.
and a 1.
So
So
he's 8
he's
inches over that.
So
6
foot 6.
6'6".
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like my character?
Yeah.
Like 6'2".
I'm pretty sure the Dragonborn's the tallest out of them.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think he is.
well,
And he's probably
I'm the dwarf.
He's probably
He's-
pretty close to the broadest.
he's huge.
He might
Yeah.
have something to say
That's
about
because
that.
he's
maybe.
fat and chunky.
but-
I say that in,
Excellent
in
shape.
turn too.
oh, okay.
In character.
So yeah, you're left in this room with this draconian.
This draconian that's staring at us.
Unblinkingly. 'cause
Yeah,
he
right?
just-
Just
Is now my chance? I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and land.
Oh, good.
Do you want to do it stealthily?
Oh, yeah.
slide
All right,
up.
roll me a stealth check and then a sleight of hand check.
Woo, I'm pretty stealthy.
Can I
She's gonna
perception
stealthily
to
sneak
realize
up and
what
go.
she's doing?
Roll a perception check.
Do I roll a
Roll a
perception?
perception.
Yeah.
That's not a good perception check.
I noticing that she's going towards a scale.
22.
22.
I'm
Right now
gonna
I'm having.
distract them.
All right. Did you get over 22?
Oh no,
I
I
got
didn't.
22.
Sorry.
All right.
I think
Now roll your
I think
sleight
it's
of
12.
hand.
Ooh, not as good.
Better than your perception.
No, it was pretty bad. Not great.
Roll me another perception.
What's
check.
Okay,
the sleight
okay,
of hand
Your
in?
hygiene's terrible.
It's
it
under-
just
This
lives.
is
Is
still
it
not great.
stealth too?
It's under Dex.
It's under
Yeah, it's
dex.
under deck. Sleight of hand.
Oh, there it is. Plus 4.
I'm just like watching the king leave right now.
16?
Yeah, you totally beat him.
All right.
That's-
So
I
you
rolled-
just walk up
I
and
got
sort of
6.
clap him on the back and just grab one and pocket.
That was very
You
easy.
feel a sharp pain, but there's nothing there when you.
Oh, you chainmail.
And now I just stare at it. And I pet it, like
It's
when no
nice.
one's
Oh.
looking, and then I put it away.
That's creepy.
That's kind of creepy.
All right. I think I noticed you do that last thing, but I didn't see what it was. I just saw you like.
They're very soft, because he's like,
They're not soft.
They're not
well,
soft.
like smooth, not soft.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
scale.
The saying is hard as dragon scale.
Yeah. They're
Not
like-
soft and
they're-
squishy like dragons.
My
see
armor is
dragon
like
tails come
tenfold
on.
quilts.
I'm gonna walk over to Barthun.
Smoke the plushy dragon.
Well, we're left with you, so
And how tall is
I'm pretty short.
you? What are you?
I'm
3'1"?
I think I'm 3'1", 3'2".
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
more than
literally,
twice
yeah,
as
you're
big.
twice,
You're like-
twice my size. So I walk up.
We're left with you.
So it's like, well,
And,
Right.
And I'm left with you all. Yes, small one.
I don't think you should be using the word left as well. You should be using the word gifted. Blessed, really.
Is that so?
It would be in your
Yeah.
best interest to ignore him when he talks.
Inspiration.
Thank you.
Speaking.
I'll kind of-
Also out of character, it would be in your best interest.
Oh, hey, Grant. Speaking of inspiration, I don't think we told you we use inspiration cards.
They're
Okay.
So you can
Good.
get 1 inspiration. You can spend to get a copper card. 2 for silver. 3
Speaking
for
of
gold.
which,
4 for platinum.
Copper me.
Hear me a copper.
Beer me copper.
Beer me a copper.
But yeah, I'm gonna
Beer me copper.
pat. What is? I guess I don't know your names.
Yo, oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
pat the halfling on the head and just be like, I guess we'll see how much of a gift you are in time.
Get off me. My name's Oz.
30
Thing.
is Colt of the Silences of the Church of Dawn.
God, you're
Good-
like a curse
Good to
on
be with another of the
green.
church.
Shut up, Shrub.
Absolutely. This is Foreign, valiant soldier.
Yeah, and I'm like in awe of the sparkles.
Basuai, a priest of the black, which is handy with an axe. And
A
Estine Lixon,
compliment!
a wizard of Fellowhearth.
Wait till he
I
gets to me.
sympathize with the plight of your people.
I appreciate that.
Oh, that was nice.
Oh yeah, I guess you would.
And I'm Osborne Underthorn, a priest of the green. Thank you.
You had already said your name.
You have a point.
It's right.
Long has my journey been in the redemption of my people. I appreciate your sympathy.
It's a similar fight that we fight.
Indeed.
Okay.
Barthune,
As my liege said, I am Barthune. I will answer any questions that you all have. I understand that you may have your doubts about me because of my, well, me. But
Well, we all have our doubts about each other, so welcome.
It's so true. It's so true.
especially this one.
It's so true.
It's like 2 priests of the old faith.
Two priests of the old
a
faith.
weird wizard of
Weird
Fellowhearth.
wizard.
An atheist.
An agnostic
And a zealot.
atheist and a zealot.
Walk into a bar.
And a
Walk into
counter
the
zealot,
bar.
yeah.
Take D6
And a
damage.
dragon!
and a dragon.
Now we have a dragon.
And some Dargan.
Uh,
some holy Dargan.
what
I'm
made a draconian like you want to serve Lorimir?
He saw the light.
I suppose that
Of course, as they all do, but
it's not such a short answer that I can give. I,
Cue that.
as you all know,
I'm afraid
Cutscene. Cutscene.
cutscene.
I wish I had
And
missed.
Tragic backstory. Let's go.
Throughout the Third Rise, there was much killing, much razing. I was a part of it, but I always felt like there was a better place to be, a better side to be on. But
Wait, hold on. Guys,
Why
don't
did
make
you
it
say
so much noise during his backstory. All right, keep going.
there was a better side to be on, I felt, but I knew not what that side was. The side of Hasim and the side of Feofi was the only side that I've ever known. After the Third Rise, when word went out that the war had ended, everyone went into hiding, me and my unit included. We received word from scouts that the legendary Left Neckbreaker was forming teams to hunt down remaining resistance and end the draconian threat. We were told to prepare and make sure that we were ready to ambush any parties that found us. A party did find us. They were not ready for our ambush, and we captured them all. We were surprised when it was not Left that led the team, but it was Aegherdt himself. I was placed in charge of guarding Aegherdt, and I had a lot of conversations with him, and we quickly became friends. I told him of all of my doubts, and I told him of my guilt, and I asked him for advice as to what I could do to feel better about myself. And he asked me to come back with him to Thrimichath. He said that there was much that could be done. I did not believe him at first. I thought that there was no way that anyone could accept me for who I was. I was a monster. And he told me that indeed no one would accept a monster. However, that I should be better than who I was born to be, and that I shouldn't have to accept the monster either. And so I came back with him to Thrimichath after releasing him from the cage. I was knighted under the Church of Lorimir, and I decided to become a knight cleric so I could maybe just do some good and make up for the past that I had been with.
Inspiration.
Thank you.
A little teary-eyed, right? A little teary-eyed. put my hand on his shoulder.
Impossible.
Can you?
No.
Yeah, he's pretty tall.
Yeah, I don't
And
think
I
I
gotta
can.
stand on a box to,
Yeah,
to do
I got.
it.
Alright.
Yeah, you're like jumping up.
I put my hand on his
Okay,
elbow.
I just put my.
On the back of his knee.
Yeah. Just on the thigh.
Yeah.
Just on the thigh. I go,
It's a little weird.
mate, we all might be monsters. And as I say that, I turn into a needle blight.
Because I turned out I'm a tree!
Yeah, I basically turn into a tree right in front of you. And I
I-
go,
Immediately feel bad about taking the scale, and I contemplate giving it back,
She pulls out a piece of tape.
but I do not give it back.
Okay,
It is mine.
Alright.
use some gum.
I don't know that you have these
I
thoughts.
know, but I might give it back later. You never
You
know.
can detect those.
I'll probably just find that pretty
Yeah,
weird.
detect
Give
thoughts.
me a scale back in a month.
I remember, we're all telling you once, they can't hear us at all. So.
Alright.
Maybe you are the example to how the Canaans could be potential allies to the Thermocathy. So
Perhaps so. I don't think there's anyone that is completely beyond redemption. I should be an example of that.
I believe that.
It is going to be good traveling with you.
And with that, you are very easily able to book some passage from some of the soldiers who escort you all the way south for several weeks until, at last, you arrive. I say several weeks, like a week and a half.
I was about to say,
Until,
crap.
at last,
long time.
you arrive at the shore of the sea. Looking through the docks, you eventually see a ship with a goblin name on it. Does anyone speak goblin
Oh my gosh.
and read goblin
Do
specifically?
not.
Wait.
No.
Are we talking about this is like the same shit?
It's the same shit,
like,
but it's got a goblin.
with like training
No.
centers?
No,
in
no,
there?
that's
oh,
shit.
okay.
No, that's-
As we're approaching, I could comprehend languages.
Alright, as you look at it, the ship doesn't have a direct translation to common, but it looks like it's sort of a hodgepodge of words. Goblin humor is a strange thing, and it seems that the name of the ship, the closest you could call it in common would be the Aquaholic.
I'm not sure that I can even pronounce this in the Goblin tongue. Fascinating. It is a ship.
I believe the goblin name you gave it was the Rigger Tarf.
Yeah, the Rigger Tarf was what it says in Goblin, yeah.
I will tell them it says that.
Alright.
Strange tongue they have.
Well, we found it.
Right. Now, where's the captain?
You see, like a hat at the
Fine
pop up
plume.
right next to the railing. All you can see is the hat with a huge plume feather. And then you see a hand like, pull himself up, and there's this guy, and he's got a cloth slung over his shoulder like he'd just been swabbing the deck. And he says, "The captain! Well, that's me, Leslie Shakespeare, at your service."
Racist.
This is
This
well,
what is
He was
this?
a
half
orc.
orc.
He was a half orc. Yes, you can see he's a half orc because he smiles. He has two sort of stunted tusks.
Huh. Yeah.
Uh,
Half-orc in a goblin vessel.
Right.
Sounds like the beginning of a tavern joke.
We were. Oh God, it's an orc. We were meant to take refuge in your ship.
Left neckbreaker sent us.
There it is.
He sent one of his companions as proof.
Oh, yes, I've seen you traveling with Bluff.
Good to see you again, Leslie.
Yes. And good to see you,
Sparthan.
Barthoon!
Scaly face!
Yes, where am I to be taking you?
That is a
Yeah,
good.
that's
The place that
Elric's
Wiley
watch.
told us earlier.
Elric's Watch.
Guys, our note taking is pretty bad right now.
I'm sorry, I assumed high int over there was doing
He's
it.
sort of
He's possessed.
He looks at you curiously and he says, "Elric's Watch? Now, there's a place I haven't been in a long time.
There's a place.
That's Canaan territory.
Can you get us there?
Is that a problem?
Well, I could take you there. I'm a privateer, you see." And he points up to the flag, and the flag is billowing, and it has a lightning bolt like piercing the top of a cave that's sort of like shattered open.
Nice. How long will the journey be?
Well, it won't be long. It's 3 or 4 days from here.
Are the waters treacherous at all, or...?
Not at all, for Prospero guides us.
Yes, he does.
Those of you who are familiar with the Outlander religion would know that Prospero is one of the names given to an incredibly minor deity of storms.
Incredibly minor deity.
This is probably his only cleric.
I think it's his only cleric.
Incredibly minor deity of the storms. And at this point, you do see that he's got a necklace that has a cloud on it that has it's like a silver cloud, and in the middle of the silver cloud is a gold lightning bolt.
It's cute.
That's cute.
He
It's like
says,
Hercules'
"Well, you have all your supplies?
We do, yes.
May we come aboard?
You may!
Captain.
A crew? Well, this is a very simple ship. I really only need myself these days.
Ah.
This ship was a gift, you see.
Yeah, from the neckbreaker.
From the Nightbreaker, yes. It belonged to one of his friends, some goblin or other.
So how big's the ship?
It's small, but enough.
It's like a caravel.
Yeah. At its most, I think we had like 12 people
Yeah.
in it or something.
I'm gonna timidly board since he's part orcish.
Alright.
I'm just going.
He,
Neckbreaker's
Are there
always okay.
birdies?
once you're all on board, what's it?
Are there birdies?
There's swans and stuff lying around.
Swans?
Swans.
Swans,
yeah.
There's swans everywhere.
I don't know why I conflated those two birds in my head. There's seagulls flying around.
Just sitting on the side of the
They're in this like ostriches.
No, they have
And one thing you see is a red herring.
No!
No, but there's seagulls flying.
Cool. I'm on board.
Right off.
Alright.
Right off shows him just
Is
stares
there
at Oz.
Is there a crow's nest?
There actually is not.
Let's have a crow's nest.
No, it's just a swan's nest.
But as you all get boarded, Leslie says, "Well then, without further ado."
Alright, I'm a little timid now that he's being the captain. I don't know if I trust him.
He says,
You can jump
"Batten down the hatches."
What?
Which ones?
That's okay. I already did that. Hoist the mainsail.
Is the sail already
I
hoisted?
start
It is not.
running around like.
He says,
doing
"That'd be the
things.
rope on the left."
I go pull the rope on the left.
Right. Weigh anchor. Unweigh it. Get the anchor up.
There you go. Yeah. I was like, nope.
I'm
You
like
all on the
opening
all on the
doors
anchor.
and like when I'm trying to help, but I don't know what any of these words mean.
All right, and he says, "And off we set." And the wind catches the sails as you start heading west toward Elric's watch.
On his word, the wind just catches the sails.
It does, literally.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
He says it, and the wind
Yeah.
comes up.
He casts
Oh,
Gus level 2.
we'll go.
Anywhere the wind is blowing.
This is not a musical episode.
You're right.
I'm
Except
waiting
I
for
might
it.
have one
Put
eventually.
down.
I'm so excited.
D20 musical theater.
So, you now have a 3-day journey. Is there anything you would like to do over the 3-day journey that matters to you, or should we just ask?
Oh, can I?
Oh, God.
What? Maybe that's something.
I bet it's. Wait, everybody pay attention. It's gonna
Can
be
I
really
train my
important.
doggy?
You can
You have
train
a
your
dog?
doggy.
Yeah, you should train your
doggy.
doggy as well.
Crag, yeah.
Crag. His dog.
Oh,
looks
yeah,
like,
that's
looks
right.
I
like
want to teach him.
Cujo.
Come here.
It's horrible.
Okay, you wanna teach him
It's
to
this
do it?
monstrous.
So
like,
the first
I
time,
already taught him sit.
the first time you start trying to teach him, you start saying, "Come here," and he looks at you and he goes,
This is great.
This is the greatest thing
This is
ever.
the great. Someone take a picture of that.
Someone make a
Screen
clip. Someone make a
and you
clip.
say, "Come here," and he goes, and he stands up on his hind legs.
and walks
What?
over and
Well,
leans on the
come here,
railing.
doggy.
He drops down and he rolls
Oh
over.
no, that's not what I wanted.
You're broken.
Well, I pat him, but
You're
I don't give him a treat
Overlord
until he comes here.
All right. Well, you continue working with him for 3 days, and he's making some progress, but he's not nailing it.
A dog will learn faster than that.
I sit, I stand next to, I lean on the side of the ship. I let the sea breeze go through my curly hair. And I think back to whenever I was abandoned. The seashore.
Okay.
Wow.
What's he talking
Are you sad?
Tragic
Do you look
backstory.
really
Nobody
sad?
Nobody asked me about it.
Let's see if I notice you're being sad.
I will also perception.
Do an insight. It would be an insight for this.
Oh, excuse me.
Right.
Insight check. Well, I'm using the bone die for an insight check. Oh, I crit the insight check.
Oz looks strangely
I got a
sad as he
15.
leans against the railing.
All right. Now I'm rolling a compassion check.
Pretty well.
I do care. All right, good.
I'm
if
pretty
it hadn't been
dog,
you.
so I'm sorry.
Training my dog Crag as well.
All right. Same thing. He's coming each time, but as he approaches, he's not really stopping.
He's a big boy.
Great. Are you all right, Oz?
I'm fine. Just a look.
What's wrong?
Nothing, mate. It just reminds me of.
Well, isn't that great? Says, as he approaches, he says, "I can see it's brought a tear to your eye. It does for me as well."
And is there indeed a tear for this?
There isn't, but then he sort of says, "Prospero be with us all," and for a moment, just like you can feel the air get denser around you, and then a tear starts rolling down his cheek, but it doesn't seem to have come from his eye.
Just
You better
just
believe.
just
One
Believe
raindrop
controlling
directly
rain.
like.
So you all right?
I go to the front of the ship.
I'm going with him.
Well, some conversation. He goes on to somebody else.
Shiver my timber, shiver my soul. Oh, oh, heave, oh. Mean with hearts like it's cold. Oh, oh,
Keep going until somebody does.
So the song reminds you of something. What is wrong?
I was left in it. I was a baby. On the shores of Thrimichath, northern Thrimichath.
I see.
Very specific.
And the only thing I really remember is one
Is that song?
pirate song. Shiver my timber.
Shut
Shiver my soul.
God.
Yo, oh, Eve.
Mate, you understand?
What up is this?
I know.
I go about my business.
I start to like. Well, I'm sorry, and he's just gone.
I just leave.
All right. Well, I'm assuming you're copying spells.
Yep.
All right.
And being totally not possessed, guys.
So you don't see much of his steam during this journey. Every time you do see him, he's got a quill and some ink, and he's coming to refill his ink pot, and then he goes back.
Every so often, I go ahead and pop my divine sense. Do I still sense
yeah.
like a fiend wherever he is?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Oh. So
I gotta get me a ring of non-detection.
after a few
That ain't
days,
gonna work.
you make it to Elric's
Not a
watch.
divination spell.
Oh, look at our cute picture.
Elric's watch
Look
looks
at that.
about like that. You can see that it has. It sits in the mountains, and it has one path that leads up
to me.
to the wooden drawbridge, and the fort itself. The path leads down to the shore, and the fort itself sits up on top so that it can watch over the seas. You know that this fort serves in many ways as the guardian of the seas, and Cainith makes sure that Thrimichath can't enter their shores by way of sea invasion. I just realized as well, I left some notes in the other room. I'll go grab those. I'll be right back.
Wow, great.
The team's off the room.
Everyone, do something.
I'm gonna roll to multiply my gold.
And so, as
Man, you got
Northumberland
11,000.
suddenly finds all of his gold missing. So,
It's that elf.
as you arrive,
How do you know he meant you?
They
That
always
it wasn't
need
the
me.
dirty, thieving dark elf.
They always...
You always know where I am.
as you arrive, you
That's
can
true.
see this path leading up to Elric's watch, and Leslie says, "Well, and this is where I leave you.
Thank you for the safe journeys.
And safe journeys in the future to you.
How long
Watch
do you-
yourself in the snow and ice. That path looks treacherous."
Thank you.
Will you be back, or is this the last time we see you.
I'm sure this will be the last you see of me for at least some time. He says,
I'm a recurring character, you see, but not a principal cast member.
he says, I do not intend to come back to pick you up. I believe Barthune was explaining to me that your mission lies further in the waste.
I see. Well, thank you for taking us, and it was lovely meeting you.
And thank you for the sweet, sweet company. May Prospero guide you. And may you always ride the lightning.
Yes!
I will not miss your volume.
He says, I didn't think I'd put on that much weight.
You look fine, friend.
He says, as do you. And he goes and he grabs this huge, just like, plank.
Yeah.
And he, as he takes it, he just sort of lays it down so that you can walk down off the ship. And he says, well then, off you go.
I
We
walk
go.
down the plank.
All right. After you head down the plank, he takes it and he loads it back onto his ship. Curiously, he doesn't just set it off to the side. He hangs it on a weapon mount on the wall. And he waves and he says, "The wind is with me!" And as he as his sail just sort of unfurls almost on its own, the wind catches it and he sails back towards the east.
Gas level 2.
If he could have done that originally, why were we running around to help him?
Perhaps he simply wanted to give commands to someone. He seems to have had no one on his crew for a while.
I am very tired of that man.
You didn't even talk to him.
I could not stop hearing him. It is as though he yells in his sleep.
No, your cabin was like right next to his. He snores very loud.
Well, and dark elves don't sleep.
Yeah, dark elves don't sleep.
They're the only elves that don't. Because they're terrified.
All right. Well, this is where you were headed. You want to head up?
Guess so.
All right.
Yeah. So it's super cold and it's snowing and stuff?
Yeah, I mean it's still the deep winter.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it was
We
like
were
the
prepped
beginning
for
of
it.
winter at the beginning of the campaign.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now it's several weeks.
But
in.
we're dressed for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Except you.
as you head up,
Except me, I'm kind of
like cold-blooded.
like breathe some fire into
and I
the
mean you
hands and stuff
probably
every once in a
have
while.
still like a heavy cloak and
Yeah,
some
yeah.
clothes, but yeah, it's definitely cold.
I have a blanket.
I would love that blanket.
I give you the
I'll
blanket.
wrap myself in the
We're
blanket.
friends
Just
now.
kind of like
Official. We
cuddle
are
up in
friends.
it as we walk along.
All right. As you head up the path, you finally arrive at the drawbridge, which, as you approach, is lowered to greet you.
Yay.
And a man in damaged, banged-up plate and a deep visored sallet helm.
Oh, wow.
A very large man.
Salad?
Sallet helm.
Oh.
There's a T.
A deep visor. A sallet helm is a sort of pointed helm that has a visor right here, but a deep visored sallet helm, the visor comes all the way down to cover the chin as well.
Cool.
And he comes approaching,
Big man.
a big guy, and he says, "Who are you that comes to the watch?"
I thought this was the Dwarven Citadel.
No.
No.
This is Elric's watch.
Yeah,
Belongs to
it's-
Canaan.
It's the
Well, I
one where
have a
people
Twitter
go from
post to read
Thrimichath.
it.
Yeah, it's the people who go from Thrimichath to Caneth, peaceably.
This is one of the way in.
We were coming to speak with folk here. We mean no harm to anyone.
Well, I'm afraid that no, you can't let anyone in at the moment.
What's
And you
going
can
on?
see that there's two guards up with ballista that are aimed down at you.
I see that the ballista just kind of
Whoa.
eye one and eye the other, and then look back at the guard and say, "What seems to be the problem?"
He says,
There has been
"No problem. It's just the war. We don't allow anyone in.
You
Not
do
since the war started.
you do have the drawbridge down. You know that.
Yes, I thought it more respectful to come speak with you face to face."
Fair.
He
But
says,
you don't let anyone through because you were afraid of hostilities, or
That's right. This point is too important for us to keep. The Duke of Iron has commanded us not to let anyone in.
when we were told about this by Lef, then it was owned by Caneth.
Right.
Okay, but they tended to let Thrims
They
through.
tended to let people in, yeah.
The priest of the green would love to gift your fellow soldiers.
I'm afraid we only follow the light of Loromir here.
Really? In Caneth?
That's what he says.
Insight check.
All
'cause
right.
He had a weird
Yeah,
clause.
that's
just
not right. I would like to do that as
I got
well.
nothing.
All right. What you got?
I got a 7.
Okay.
I believe him.
My
I
insight
did
was
not
not
roll.
great either.
I believe
I got an
him.
8.
I'm so sorry. I got a 12. I don't know.
Okay.
I got a 16.
You two, you're not sure what, but one, you know that. For one, you know that in Caneth, while most Canaans follow the light of Loromir, their allies are the Narweens and the Outlanders, and they the Outlanders mostly live in Caneth, and they certainly don't follow the light of Loromir. But specifically, you notice that something was off with his phrasing. The Duke of Iron. Either of you can make an intelligence roll.
Well, they don't call him that.
Yeah, they call him the Iron Duke.
Is 13 enough to?
13 is
Or
also.
the- okay.
I just rolled a nat 19.
I stabbed him. No, I'm just kidding.
19?
Just kidding.
Yeah.
What languages do you speak?
Not
Halfling,
great.
orc,
elf.
elf.
So you know that in Orcish, the descriptor is placed after the subject.
Oh, interesting.
What does that mean?
Well, that
it's
he-
like if you
he's
in
phrasing it
Spanish,
like an
whenever
orc.
you say like that man is handsome, normally it's or like a funny clown would be payaso de guapo.
Right, you'd say the clown funny.
the clown
Right,
funny
yeah.
Right.
instead of the funny clown.
So instead of the Iron Duke in Orcish, it would be the Duke Iron.
So it's as though he learned Orcish first.
Can we see his
Fallen
face?
as a second
No,
language.
he's wearing a D20 Zealot helm.
I wanna make.
Is he tall?
He's tall. He's a big guy. He's wearing damaged, banged up plate.
Damn,
Definitely
damn,
can.
Interesting.
I think I want to say. I think I want to make this a intimidation.
Okay.
I'm gonna say. Well, if it's like most of Caneth is who follows Loromir, right?
Most
of
of
Thrimichath.
most of Canaan. So the most of Lormir's followers are humans of the East.
What's the
Um,
name of the place?
That you're from?
No.
El,
No, the-
Elrich.
Elrich?
The watch.
Elric's Watch.
Elric's
Yeah.
Watch. If most of the people of Elric's Watch do follow Loromir, as you say, then there would be no problem with a knight cleric of Loromir bringing his companions in. Would there be?
Roll intimidate check.
Snap.
I rolled a 19 plus 3 is a 22.
Very scary.
He's very big.
He looks back up to the people on the ballista, who you notice are also wearing. They're not wearing Zealot helms. Theirs are slit visors. Of course, it's too far away to see what is beneath
Right.
their visors.
Yeah.
And he says, "No problem. Accept the orders of the Duke of Iron."
Oh, of course, the Duke of Iron. Yes, I don't know, I forgot. In fact, we are here on business. You should let us in. I suggest to him.
Or it was.
All right.
He rolls a 3.
Oh,
Divination.
He says for a minute, "The Duke of Iron sent you. Well then, I'm sorry." And he comes walking up to you. So that idea didn't seem reasonable because you told him the Duke of Iron sent you.
Oh, shucks.
He grabs you. Roll an athletic check.
Oh
right.
boy.
Well, he
Here we
said he
go.
had business with him.
Oh, I'm ready. No weapon. I guess I had it in my hand. It's a spear.
All right, athletics. Here we go. That's
Oh,
the,
except
that's
that
the
was probably
strength thing I
meant
can do, but it's an 8.
All right. He grabs you and he hurls you off the bridge into the crevice.
Oh. You got Misty Step?
You go tumbling down, and he goes running backwards across the bridge, and he says, "No, no, no!" And both the ballista fire at the bridge. As they do so,
Where are we?
you're on the bridge. As you do so, the bridge
Where's
is shattered by a ballista bolt.
I don't have a meat.
And you all go tumbling down
No, thank you.
into the crevice.
You want to go ahead and hit us with the...
I don't have any. Hey, bring it. Your the player's handbook.
Can I make a
you need?
dexterity saving throw?
The player's handbook. Which
With
initiative?
fallen
I just need to
No.
take a picture of some cleric spells.
To like thorn whip my way.
I know what you need, bro.
You can do that. You can do
I
that.
want to try to thorn whip Indiana Jones style.
Yeah, dude.
It's a
All right.
proficient spell.
Okay, what should I roll?
It's the best thing.
Roll me a dex save.
It's way
Okay.
better. It's got Xanathar's initiative. Oh, no.
How does that 15 treat you?
Soon it will.
A 15?
Yes, sir.
All right, you managed to whip onto a little outcropping, and so you're hanging as you see your friends tumbling
I
down.
am slow falling.
You're slow
Oh,
falling.
monk.
As a monk.
Of course you are.
All right.
I'm still mounted
Oh man.
on my found steed.
All right.
You
So
ram.
My yeah, I think it's a
Your
ram.
Yeah,
war
it was a
ram.
ram.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
it's
was
a
a
war
ram.
ram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone, as you fall, except maybe UI,
is it?
and you're not falling yet, is going to take 31 bludgeoning damage.
Good.
As you slam into the ground 80 feet below. Most of you manage to hit a couple of other things on the way down, which slows your fall a bit. But you eventually land on the ground below. When you hit the ground,
How much was it?
31.
31.
Alright, minus 20.
All right. When you hit the ground, you notice that the orc that was on the bridge is also down here, having tumbled down as well. Roll for initiative.
Wait, he didn't make it across the bridge?
They didn't quite. They fired
and
before he made it all
do
the
we
way.
get a
So
D4
they're 30 feet
added?
down?
Yes.
What?
Everybody.
30 feet
Yeah,
down?
80
D4 to your
down.
initiative because Warlord.
Yeah, you're hanging down and you can see them down below, and you see that you can hear footsteps coming towards you on the cliff up there.
Crap.
I have a 14.
I'm going to let go of the whip,
And
Mhm.
tumble.
and as I fall, I'm going to turn into a needle blight.
All right, that's smart. That's
Absorb
smart.
some damage. Makes
So you'll
Is that
take.
Is that
As I'm
sense?
coming down,
There's
can
not
I
one
see
on
the
my
orc,
list.
or is that like too meta?
You can see him.
sense.
Can I launch needles as I'm coming down?
You'll get one needle
Edition
dead.
Okay.
spellbook.
That's a miss.
So you'll take 37 bludgeoning damage,
Well,
split between you and the needle blight.
Needle. Oh, I should roll for needle. Can you hold me the monster?
So try it with just one word.
'Cause I think it's 3D.
All right, foreign initiative.
I
can't read it.
9.
Yeah, that's right.
All
That's
right.
fine.
Osborne.
We get a D4 with our initiative.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I guess that's
And that 20
So-
plus 1 plus 4 is 25.
All right. Esteem. 8.
Huh. You're
UI.
That should have worked. That should have
Yeah,
worked.
it should have
I'm a
worked.
little confused.
Thaddeus.
14.
I have a 14 as
You
well.
saw that.
Barthion also is.
Yeah.
All right. So that map
It would
right
differ
there.
from what I
That's the
expected.
one we'll be using.
Oh, this guy.
Right.
Oh, back up.
You're gonna
So, all right, and let's put this guy over there with you.
What happened to our dogs?
Over
Well,
here.
they also
Oh.
took 31 damage.
My dog was in my pouch.
Rest
Your dog, you'll take half.
He's inside a pouch.
It's in a pack.
All right, fine. If you land it on your
He's a
stomach,
baby.
that's fine.
So I hit the ground and immediately, like, needles and twigs fall off of me. I'm back to my halfling state.
I was assuming. No, I guess that makes sense. All right, cool. So Oz, you said you get one attack. Go ahead.
I missed it on the way down.
All right. So you fire some needles, and then you hit the ground, and you're back in halfling state, which puts us actually at Osborne's turn.
Really?
Yeah, you had the
That's
last
right. I
25.
rolled a nat 20.
Right.
Wiping myself off from the
Yeah,
dust.
put that orc up at the top of the ramp.
I was
Right here?
I
Yeah.
was just gonna make one.
Dusting myself off.
Appreciate it, though.
I'm going to look at everyone that's hurt and
I'm pretty okay.
reach into my pouch of herbs and blow on them.
Okay.
They start to glow green. And it's almost like whenever Groot opens up, right?
Okay.
I open my hands and just glowing green, like dandelion stuff start flying. And everyone can get... Who's really low on health?
I am.
Anyone else?
I actually did alright.
I mean, I'm halfway.
Alright, you can take... Are you below half?
Oh yeah.
You can take 10.
Okay.
You can take
I'll
full
do
10
that.
full health.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my turn. I use
Alright,
my
UI.
channel divinity.
UI.
Is there dudes here?
There's
There's
that
the
one
orc.
dude.
There's one, yeah.
Oh, I'll throw my axe at him.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
How much damage?
21.
31. You took 39.
Good night.
37 actually, I think.
Oh, I also get. No, that's right. That's right. So 21 hits. I'm assuming.
It will.
Oh, look at Boss hitting stuff.
And it does 5 slashing,
Okay.
piercing, and 1 fire.
All right. All right. Your axe goes hurtling towards the orc. As it comes towards the orc, he lifts up what looks like on his back it just looked like a sword before, but now that he's holding it, it looks more like a bladed club almost. And as it comes towards him, he swings heavily with his sword and bats it aside. It seems to send a shock up his arm, and the fire sort of arcs into him.
Awesome. Extra attack.
All right.
Can I borrow
So are you
someone's
going up
Xana
at
cards,
him?
please?
I get 2 attacks and I get to punch him, so I'm doing that.
So are you getting up in space?
Oh yeah. I threw it and then I ran after
Oh,
it
okay.
and then I ripped it out of him
Yeah,
and then I
yeah,
smashed
she's
him with
fast.
it again. For the to hit is 18.
18?
Yeah.
All right, that'll hit.
And it is 8
Okay.
slashing and 2 fire.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna punch him in the
His
face.
AC is 18.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I don't punch him in the face. 8 plus 6.
All right, so you go running towards him
7.
after hurtling your axe, running alongside your axe, swinging your as it slams into him, you catch it before it bounces off and swings back into him, and then you pull up your fist, slam into his face right into that sallet helm, putting a dent in the helm, but your fist is now bloody. As you do so, he hefts that blade club and swings it in at you for a 17 to hit.
Oh man, just barely.
And that's going to deal 15 bludgeoning damage.
That's
Nice.
rude.
All right, and that puts us at Barthoon.
I am going to.
I'm pretty bloodied.
You're pretty bloodied.
Oh yeah, that was a massive hit.
I'm
Even though I
going
went needle.
to, kind of just like outstretch my hands, and
I'll take
light is going to flow from me and flow into every member of the party.
Nice.
I'm gonna cast Mass Healing Word.
There you go.
Oh!
So that's gonna do.
Oh, that's poopy.
I thought you were using your channel divinity too. I was
Including the
like,
dogs?
we just did. We just both channel divinity.
I think it includes the dogs. I'm just gonna say that.
It's everybody.
It's everybody.
That's awesome. Okay, cool.
It's gonna be 1d4 plus
How many creatures
Two.
can you do this on?
up to 6.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, that's just
That's
us.
all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Well,
that.
is
including him,
plus whatever
is
that
6.
is.
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah, up to 6 creatures of my choice.
Plus your spellcasting
Right,
damage is plus
he's
3.
get
plus
one-
5.
So it's 2 plus 3 plus
5.
5. So that's going to be 10. Everyone's going to gain 10, and I'm going to gain. I'm going to gain 10 myself, and then also whenever I heal myself as well. So I'm going to gain another 5. So I'm going to gain
Nice.
15. Everyone else is going
Is
to gain
that
10.
level 5 life clearance?
Nice.
that
You
it
know
is?
All right, Farin, or Thaddeus. I'm sorry.
I was about to
Oh,
say.
good. I'm gonna charge forward on my poor old ram that took
Here,
a pretty
I
solid
get you.
hit, but it's
Get you.
still up. And as I charge forward, then I extend my my grasp on my spear to strike overhead. No, I'm back a little bit.
Oh,
Just as I'm gonna eventually get within his reach, but just for flavor and because I want to use my bonus action for something. No, you know what? Yeah, that's right. So as I come charging in, I'm gonna stab at him just over the top of Boss's shoulder, and then move in the rest of the way
That's my title.
and bring the spear up and around into the side of his helm.
All right.
That's gonna be 2 hits. Well, that is an 18 on the low end.
All right. That'll
and
be
then better. So. For 8 and then 9 damage, so 17 total.
All right.
I don't really like him. I'm gonna smite him one time.
Okay.
So just a little first level.
It's
So
a
as the second one comes in, then the edge of my spear kind of glows with a bright heat that transfers itself to his helm. That's gonna hurt. For 8 additional radiant damage.
All right.
And that's the turn.
All right. As you do so, he roars and he tears off the helmet. At this point,
It's
You're
pretty
certain.
apparent.
this
So-
is an orc, and this orc looks like he's seen many a battle.
Well, he's about to see my
Yeah,
fist.
veteran.
Yeah. All right. He's not the veteran stat block, but he's a veteran. So Farin.
I didn't figure he'd be a veteran if he's just him with us.
Are you
Okay.
also mounted?
No, I don't have Hoofy with me.
Oh.
Oh, you don't have yours?
I have Crag. I didn't figure I can take a Hoofy on the boat with me.
No, you could have. Did you want your hoof?
I would love.
And my horse, you better bring it.
Would it have survived
and of
the
course,
fall?
it would have taken the damage from the fall.
There-
Oh, you
Yeah.
have the mini with it. That's
Yeah.
right. So, what?
Oh,
It
How
was
much?
31.
How much health does
Oh.
the hoofy have?
Actually, it might not even be alive. Honestly,
mine's got.
Uh,
I
no.
had it written at.
it was 20.
I had it written at 28.
That's all right.
Either way.
I too have suffered a hoofy death.
Wait, but
that I
we let the
survived
Hoofies
fall.
roll death saves. Because they were ours.
That's true. That's
So
true.
it's
I'll let the
Unconscious.
hoofy roll some death saves. On your turn, he'll roll one death save.
It is, so I'm not mounted.
your Hoofy just.
Just crumpled.
This one's Eris, not Esper.
Yeah, no, my
I'll just be right
poor
behind
Cyrus.
UI for now.
His died.
And
Hoofy knows.
I'll just
Okay,
take my
mine.
bike.
Alright guys, remember, only one person can talk at a time because
Got it.
otherwise we can't hear anyone.
Oh!
I'll just take my pike and just kind of thrust it into his shoulder.
Alright.
Just right over.
Yeah, leaping forward, you plunge your pike downward. What is the roll?
That is an 18.
18 went.
For poop damage.
Wow.
4 damage.
Is that a 2? Solid.
Alright. As you plunge your pike downward right into his shoulder plate, he just sort of shakes his arm, and your pike slides against the plate of the shoulder and into the strap, slicing the strap, and the shoulder plate falls away.
Oh, nice.
Okay, dope.
Gimme for now.
Alright. And
And for my my what's it called?
coordinated offensive, I think.
Coordinated offensive. I'm giving it to you.
All right.
But that's your reaction. Remember.
It is my reaction. That's a 12, so that's a 20.
All right. Yeah. So taking your spear, you swing it back in underhanded, coming straight up towards his chest plate.
Mm-hmm. For a solid another 9 damage.
All right. All right. As you twist, you can hear him go. "Ugh!" In Orcish, he utters a curse, and a steam it's your turn.
I speak Orcish.
Oh well.
I too understand Orchid.
I did too.
Me too.
In that case,
He says bad
you
things.
hear him in Orcish say, "Black spirits in white, spit on you!"
That's rough. I'm gonna chill touch him
Unlikely.
after standing up from my stupor. That's a crit.
Oh, get the 48, my boy!
On the 2d8s.
That's 48, man. You're
yeah,
on
now
the
it's
roll.
48. It's pretty good. So it's it's 12 necrotic damage.
12 turn?
On 4d8.
That's an underwhelming.
All right.
You're not allowed to roll
So
spell
opening
attacks.
your coat, you toss one of the hands towards him. It latches onto his throat and starts squeezing with claws. He takes it and he crushes it in his hand, dropping it on the ground, and then swings his blade club back up. Osborne.
Osborne is going to. This is the first time I'm going to use this spell.
Oh.
What did we do?
Osborne is going to grab a mushroom cap from his pouch
Mark him
And
spell action. That's too late. Sorry.
and toss it. As it rolls, it kind of just goes, stands up straight, and then just emits this greenish, yellowish glow.
Oh, there it
And I
is.
say, mates, if you need healing, run over there.
That's the
I cast Healing Spirit.
All right. And you can see, yeah, there's just this little mushroom with spores just sort of going.
Its name is Bean.
All right.
Horse over there.
UI.
Just push
You gotta drag your horse over there, buddy.
Yeah.
Or move the spirit over there.
Nah,
Okay.
Oh, that's harsh.
I mean,
That's harsh.
I understand.
that's horse.
I'm gonna, just punch him a couple times.
All right.
With your axes?
And by punch, I mean I'm gonna use my axes.
Axe punch.
Yeah.
Worst kind of punch.
Well, apparently.
Oh.
Oh, that was a 12, not a 20.
That was sad.
Okay. Man, that's my best roll of damage for this thing. It's 12.
To hit?
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Do you want to know how much damage I did? I got a 6 and a 5.
More than
And
that.
That was a lot of
Then
damage.
plus.
So taking your axe, you swing it in, and he catches it with his offhand, and he just holds onto it and grapples with you for a
Hit him
moment.
some more.
Was that the highest of any of your
No,
hits? Okay.
That was just a first attack.
So I missed both times trying to slice in at him,
Alright.
but I do punch him right in the nose.
Oh, he's
All
lost his
right.
helm, so
Yeah, and so as you're grappling with the one hand, you take your other hand and slam into his nose, slamming it upwards. You can hear a resounding crack. What's the damage?
7.
Alright, nice.
How's he looking?
He's looking bloody for sure.
Oh, that's good.
And taking his blade club as he's grappling with your axe, he swings the blade club over towards Fawn.
Wait, question. How long does that thing last?
Or in fact, what?
Is it
I think a
one?
minute.
A minute.
So would it be good?
By the way, I cast it at 3rd level. So
Oh.
2d6 plus quite a lot of extra healing in that.
And he actually
Oh,
is
wait,
going to
yes.
step around one, so he's going to leave Thaddeus' reach.
Cool.
You
Oh,
have
except I just used
Yeah.
my reaction.
And so he's going to step
Good call,
around
dude.
there towards Farin, and as he does so, he comes over with that blade club in sort of a whirling motion. And Farin, that's going to be a... I don't think it's a hit. A 16?
Does not hit.
All right. That's good, because that was going to be a whole lot of damage.
Wow. Okay.
That's what you got.
All right. That's it? Yeah. Bartholomew.
Alright.
Uh, so you said that we could hear like footsteps of them coming.
He could when he was up hanging on the cliff, like they were
Okay.
coming to basically get him.
Can I like make a perception check?
To
real
look
quick?
up there?
Yeah,
sure.
Typically, though, in combat, just so you're aware, making a perception check is an action.
So
So I just want to know how close they are.
I'll just go hit somebody.
I'll just go hit somebody, I guess.
You're carrying a big old halberd.
So I'm just gonna take the halberd from my back. I'm gonna run over to this
It's a little dented now.
orc boy.
Oh,
And I'm
good
gonna
old orc boy.
take a halberd swing out.
Dat boy.
That is
That orc boy.
not super great.
Cocked as hell, bro.
That's gonna be a 13.
13. As you go running towards him, you swing the halberd, and the orc ducks
redo it.
underneath it.
Oh,
there you go.
You have an
Oh,
at
you
13.
got him.
I have a nat 13.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
19.
19.
baby.
All right. So
Let
as
D20
the
go.
orc ducks, you take the. You were going for the like stab with the end of the halberd,
Mhm.
and you just swing it downward into the back of his shoulders.
Sick. Oh,
Wow.
that's a
Party
4.
foul.
4 damage.
Yeah, no.
Plus strength.
No,
right?
plus strength mod,
Plus
my dude.
plus strength mod. Yeah.
Seven.
So 7.
All right. All
It's
right.
been a while. It's been 2
You
years.
cleave down into his back, leaving a gouge in his plate, and that puts us at Thaddeus.
Gosh. Plus, write it down. Plus 3. Yeah, I'm gonna move around to where he's more in my reach here. That's just silly. And so I'm charging in and I'm swinging in twice with my weapon. And then I'm gonna. No, I'm not gonna set my spear. So I'm just gonna swing in twice with my weapon. Ugh. No. Yeah, neither was a good.
You swing in once and with your spear, and as you do so, he ducks to the side, and as you plunge down the other direction, he drops onto his back, letting go of Uai's hand, and rolls across the ground, coming up with a big swing of his blade club right into you.
Cool.
Since you missed 2 attacks on the same turn, ooh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hit.
Except that he just attacked Farin.
That's
Or
true.
attacked
That's
not
true.
Farin,
So 21 to hit,
Are you here?
and
Yes.
that's
You know what? I'm gonna throw a shield up. So as
Okay.
the blow comes in, then I just see it coming and just kind of smile and close my eyes, and it glances off of a beam of sunlight that just kind of
Nice.
glances down from the sky, and the blow swings aside.
He as he stands now in front of you, in common, he says, "What wizardry is this?"
Oh, no wizardry, friend.
Wizardry.
And I swing in with my weapon.
Yes, a speech impediment. What wizardry is
What?
this?
What wizardry? So who gets to attack?
Everybody who is within reach gets to make a free opportunity
That's
attack
you
without using a reaction.
Is that me?
Yep, that's you.
I'm gonna use my good weapon.
Oh, I got a
Yeah.
good one this time.
All right, what you got?
There we go.
Maybe you should retire.
24.
24. All right, and what's the damage?
Does it?
Quite as good as yours, but pretty good. Ouch.
5.
5
I've been
damage.
rolling incredible
Greg?
today.
I got a 22 to hit. I haven't rolled damage yet.
Greg,
Woo!
what's the
12 damage.
All right,
I missed.
all right, yeah.
21
That'll hit.
as I stab into his foot for 11 damage.
Oh, nice.
The damage was really good, but I missed.
All right.
That keeps happening to you.
This coordinated
Potentially, you're
attack.
really powerful.
This coordinated attack does a huge amount of damage as he staggers for a moment. He's now barely clutching his blade club as he's standing face to face with the 4 of you. And Farin.
Hit him again.
I believe you are outmatched.
As I roll an 18
It'll hit.
for poop. 6 damage.
Alright. You come swinging in with your pike, and he bats it aside, but it seems to have taken a huge chunk of his energy to do so.
And as a bonus action, I'm using Polearm Master to use the butt of it.
Alright, yeah, go ahead.
Nice.
That will not hit. That will not.
Esteem.
Wait, you still have
and,
anything.
so
So
you can-
there's several people within range. You can throw it
Right.
at whoever.
Why don't you try it?
All right.
Give him a hit. This will take your reaction.
That's fine. Well,
not really.
that's not super great.
You
That's
need
gonna be a
15.
14.
14 won't do it. As you
Alright.
swing in, he smashes your spear to the ground. Esteem.
I'll say to him in Orcish, join your black spirits. And that's that was a crit fail. I just knocked the die.
Reroll.
Oh,
That's right, because you
Bountiful
took the
Luck.
new Bountiful
Nice.
Luck feat. Alright. What does it do? It's one of the halfling
Okay.
exclusive feats from
Oh, I
Xanathar's.
do
It lets
remember
you use
seeing
your
that.
luck for other people.
Well, that's a natural
as a reaction,
19.
once
That'll
Natural
hit.
15, excuse me.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 13 necrotic damage on this one.
Nice. Alright, and this is another chill touch?
That's correct.
As you
Alright.
reach your
The
hand
one
out,
that he had smashed, it just sort of, with two broken fingers, it skitters back up his leg and plunges down into his thigh. And as he tumbles down to the ground, he's finished off by a flurry of blows.
Oh.
There
it is.
And
now we've got him.
mushroom.
Good old blind Bill.
I'm gonna go stand by the
Useless
mushroom.
bugger.
Yeah, go stand
Alright.
next to the
He was
mushroom, y'all.
useless.
From the darkness, in a cave on the other side of the crevice, you hear, hello?
Okay,
And that is where we'll leave our heroes
The camera's not there anymore.
until the end of intermission.
See you in a minute.
We'll be
guys.
back in 10 minutes, so that's at 8:20.